Have you ever stopped yourself from starting something new, whether it's a workout, a nutrition plan, or even a big life goal, because deep down you're afraid you'll fail? You're not alone. Midlife brings enough changes and challenges as it is. And the last thing you want is to feel like you're starting over again. But what if failure wasn't the end? What if it was the beginning of something better? In this episode, we're tackling the fear of failure head on. I'll show you how to break free from self-doubt, shift your mindset, and take action with confidence so you can get stronger, feel amazing, and finally trust that you can do this. No more sitting on the sidelines. It's time to take the first step. So let's go. This is the Pursue Your Spark podcast, and I am Heike Yates. If you're feeling stuck in midlife, wondering, how did I get here? You're in the right place. We're all about real transformation, not quick fixes. My mission is to help you break free from limiting beliefs and outdated habits using fitness and wellness as tools for change. Each episode offers practical strategies for turning complex challenges into simple, actionable steps. So bring your yes, I can attitude and earbuds, and let's explore how you can truly thrive in midlife. Fear is normal. There's nothing to be ashamed about if you're afraid of something. And we all experience different levels of fears in our lives, but everything seems to be amplified a little bit bigger when we reach midlife. And it's due to doubting ourselves, past experience, and also external pressure. And some of those fears we can easily go past, and others need a little bit of time and work to get past them. And I remember when I was back in the days, a very young Pilates teacher, and I had the idea of putting the Pilates mat work with the big balls. And back then I was working with a company called Resist a Ball, and was teaching their fitness programs around the clubs in the United States, teaching teachers how to use those big balls, gave workshops at conventions. And so I had the idea of using the big ball with the Pilates mat work. And I said, oh, how fun. And I tested it out with my clients, and they loved it. And they always said, why didn't you start teaching Pilates with a ball from the get-go? Well, it took a while for me to get the idea and actually make the ball work with Pilates mat work. But I was getting to the point where I thought, oh, me? Why? I'm not good enough. I'm a new teacher. What do I know? What if they say, whoever they are, this is not good enough. This is terrible. We hate it. We don't want to do it. And I was afraid that if I would introduce the ball to the fitness industry through the company back then known as Resist a Ball, that people would say, whoa, you're not good enough. You shouldn't be doing this. And I did it anyways. And I said, all right, what do I have to lose? What can I learn if they don't like it? Maybe I can make the program better. But lo and behold, I invented Pilates with Resist a Ball and put it out on the market. I wrote a teacher training program that went with the whole Resist a Ball program. And you'll find it now everywhere, Pilates with Resist a Ball on the mat work. I was excited. I was so proud of myself that I did not let my fear hold me back. Let's talk about some common midlife concerns that definitely may amplify our fears. And one of them are the hormone changes in menopause. This is, like I always say, an out of your own body experience. You experience night sweats. You can't sleep. You're depressed, you gain weight, and you may ask yourself, is it too late for me to get in shape? Do I have to always live in this body? What am I going to do? What's going to happen to me? And this fear is real. So many women have come to me and said, Heike, what am I going to do? Will this change? Will this ever be better? And of course, it's different for everybody, but yes, it can be better. Another concern are the sandwich generation struggles. You are in between your parents, yourself, your children. And taking time for yourself can take a toll because you want to be all for everybody else. You want to help your parents. You want to spend time with your children or maybe even grandchildren. And you're sandwiched into this and you're feeling that you can't be selfish or it's even impossible to take care of yourself. And I would like you to also listen to episode 230, Why Self-Care Feels So Damn Hard for Midlife Women with my guest, Leslie Logan. It ties in perfectly with what we're talking about right now. And then we also are dealing with societal expectation and the judgment. We are worrying about being judged. What if I can't keep up in this fitness class? What if people think I'm too old to start something new? Or even, who am I to be wanting what I want now in my second half of life? And these concerns are amplifying, are increasing the fears that we have around our midlife and the changes that we want to see and strive for as we're aging. It is important to understand where our fears come from. What are the roots? What triggers all this fear that we are feeling? Fear of failure isn't just about fitness and nutrition. It's about years of conditioning. We've been taught to believe that failure is bad. So nobody, of course, wants to fail. And that also means you will not start something in the fear of failing. But what if it's actually just part of learning? If we're rephrasing the fear or that failure is bad and rephrase it into something positive, it will change everything we do. And when it comes to past experiences, let's use diet failures. And so many have experienced that. You've tried diet after diet, and then the weight came off and you felt super excited. You're like, oh, this is really going to work. And then the weight came back on and you feel like you failed, even though the plan wasn't sustainable in the first place. And I just recently talked to one of my friends and she had gained quite a bit of weight over the last couple of years and she's determined to get the weight off. And she says, Heike, I am ready to take that weight off. I've tried so many times. This time it's going to work. Now, she's not listening to me, although I would dare to say I'm the expert in this field. And she hired a trainer who has her measure all her foods. Now, for some people, that may work. It has never worked for her because she's done it in the past. She's also lost a little bit of weight, but she feels now restrictive. Restricted is probably a better word. She feels restricted because she travels a lot. You're not going to travel with your measuring cups and measure everything else. And I tried to explain to her that diets to me in general, the word diet just means forget it. We're not going to stick to this. This is unsustainable. Let's change some habits, as I've been teaching on all my courses about, especially in the Pursue Your Spark Blueprint, where we talk about intermittent fasting and how we're looking at our nutrition instead of our diet, because a diet is something you do for a little while and then you're, air quotes, you're done, but you're not. So the fear of failure with this is now she's hoping that it will work this time. Although she already said, I don't know if this is going to work. Measuring cups? Or the other thing is the why bother mindset. If you tried something before and didn't succeed, why should this time be any different? I have said that myself before. That's like, I've did this before and this is not going to work. But if you look at it from a different point of view, it may change your mind, getting rid of that why bother mindset. And I just want people to open up their minds and really go for it. Go for it and stick to it and be committed to it. Or if the fear of judgment, going to the fitness class is such a classic example. It's the, I'm not in shape as they are. I can't keep up with them. Oh, what if I just stay in the back of the room so they can't judge me for my moves and the way I lift weights and the way I dress and the way we all women, or many women, I shouldn't generalize, Many women say, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not good at this. So you don't even try. This goes back to the why bother mindset. Or you've tried a class before and you just didn't like it. And all of these failures coming together. And here's one that I hear also a lot is the wasted effort. What if I work hard and I don't see results? I don't want to set myself up for disappointment. Now, just the other day, a client said to me, Heike, I feel discouraged. And I was like, what? Wait, why are you feeling discouraged? She said, I've been coming to you for Pilates and I don't get the fine points of Pilates. We're talking about pelvis alignment and all kinds of wonderful things that help her be more stable. And she is in great shape. Over the months that we worked together, she had become incredibly strong. And the 2 weeks before, she said, Heike, oh my God, I feel so strong and I can do so many other things. I now play tennis again. I love to dance. So I'm dancing around in my living room because I have the energy and the strength to do it. And then suddenly the switch flipped over. She was about, I feel like a failure. I'm doing all this, but I don't get the fine tunes, which brings us back to perfectionism. So think of those failure points that I just made. Are you using one of them to hold yourself back to get to where you want to be? Now let's talk about 3 of the most common triggers of fear in midlife. Why does it matter that you know that? Midlife brings changes that can make starting something new feel overwhelming. And I hear it all the time. I don't even know where to start, Heike. But recognizing those triggers can help us push past them. Hey, it's Heike. Have you ever felt skeptical about trying something new, especially when it comes to your health? Susan was right there with you. Susan is 57, and she had always been skeptical about new diets and exercise routines. As a retired teacher and active grandma, she struggled to stick with anything too extreme. She'd heard about intermittent fasting, but was hesitant to try it. When Susan found the Fasted and Fit Over 50 Jumpstart, she gave it a shot because it sounded manageable. To her surprise, the course made starting intermittent fasting and Pilates simple. Within 2 weeks, Susan felt more energized and noticed she was snacking less without feeling overwhelmed. If you're curious like Susan and want to try the Fasted and Fit Over 50 Jumpstart, I'll leave a link in the show notes for you to check it out. Past them. And number 1 is the physical changes. Your energy feels unpredictable. One day you're super motivated, the next you're exhausted. And that is a real concern because it does happen. And I see it in myself and I see it in my client's body. It's, for instance, like I did, you used to maybe love running, but now your knees hurt just like mine. And after 5 minutes or so, you tell yourself, maybe I just can't do that anymore. Now, in my case, I have severe arthritis in my knee and I switched to walking and running. But if you think about that, you have different energy every day. The physical changes, we're all getting older, we get arthritis, the back, whatever happens, it just happens. And I always say, I don't want to age with grace. I want to age powerfully. So I do my best. And I teach this to you guys too, that we do our best, circumvent things like a bad knee or a bad wrist or things like that. But especially when it comes to energy and motivation, it really can vary. And it varies on a lot of things. Are you stressed? Are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? Are you decompressing or de-stressing after each day? So a lot of changes like this can impact how you feel and how you address the what you do that day. That's why I always say cross-train. Don't do the same thing with the same intensity every day. Change it up. Maybe one day do Pilates. The next day you go for a run, walk, or hike. The next day you definitely do strength training with bands or weights. So change it up. And sometimes you may just do a 10-minute workout because that's all you got energy for and motivation for. Okay, please laugh silently over there on the other side of the ether. Is the other day I started my Pilates workout and I was just not feeling it. And we just had a snowstorm. So I was like, yep, I know exactly what to do. I grabbed my snow shovel and my broom, and that was my workout for the day. I was out in fresh air. I felt great, and it matched my energy. It matched where I was today. And number 2 is, of course, the societal pressure. You're expected to have it all together. At least that's what we're thinking. Other people are thinking, and that may not even be the case. People may admire us for having it all together, but deep down, we're freaking stressed out. People assume midlife means stability. So failing feels like falling short instead of just learning something new. And we all have, or many of us have, the feeling that we need to live up to what other people expect to us. And we don't have to teach them or tell them all the different things that affect us and, go out and say, oh, I didn't sleep today. And that's why I'm not super duper fast at my running. You know it. And you deep down know that what you can do that day and what they think does not matter one bit, because you're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. And number 3, is the past failures that hold us back. And that is a big one. You started a fitness plan before and you quit. You try to eat healthier, but slip back into old habits. You wonder if you're just not meant to succeed, but that's definitely not true. These mindset shifts that we have, or the things that hold us back, like the past failures, are really something we can work around or with and look at it from a different way. I also want you to check out episode 145, 5 ways to stop sabotaging yourself forever. So 5 ways how to stop sabotaging yourself forever. I put a link in the show notes so you can check it out. But let's dive into what we can do to overcome the fear of failure. The key to overcoming fear isn't avoiding it. It's working through it. And I said in the beginning, do it with fear anyways, because we're not jumping off a bridge or doing some crazy adventure. The Spark framework gives you a step-by-step way to shift your mindset and take action. You can also read about those steps in detail in my upcoming book and how to apply them to your goals to get sustainable results. And I'll leave a link in the show notes. So you're going to be one of the first people to know when my book is published. So let's talk about the Spark framework for overcoming fear of failure. The S is self-awareness, understanding your fear. If we don't ask why something happens and really are honest with ourselves, we're just avoiding the fear. We're not really getting to the deep of it, all the way to the bottom, and we're basically lying to ourselves for our reasons why we have fear. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What's the worst that can happen if I try? What is the best thing that could happen if I push through? These are super important questions. Be honest with yourself. Write down some of the past failures, or even one, and then go through it. It's like, let's say, I wanted to eat healthier. What am I really afraid of? Well, I'm afraid of too many ingredients and complicated cooking. What's the worst thing that can happen if I try? Well, the meal will not taste so good the first time. What's the best thing that could happen if you push through? I learned a new recipe and I learned how to cook something delicious. So do this with one thing ask yourself, understand the basis of what is fear. The P stands for planning, also set up for success. Making small, achievable, or creating small and achievable goals instead of thinking, I have to work out 5 days a week. Start with 1 or 2 15-minute Pilates sessions and build from there. And I always say, make it so small that you don't even realize you're doing something different. If 15 minutes is too long, do 5 minutes. Remember the story I told you about me shoveling snow? I had a great workout and I started small and I got a workout in. And I want you to picture yourself feeling energized, proud, and in control after completing a work of workouts, whether they're 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, but no pressure. Take away the pressure, plan, and also be willing to backtrack. If the original plan you had with 2 10-minute workouts that week didn't quite work out, still give yourself a pat on the back for even trying to do a few minutes. And A stands for action. And that means just start, just do it. Micro actions over big changes. Baby steps. Remember my baby steps? Change out a soda for a water. Stretch 2 minutes before bed. Commit to 1 workout a week. It's super simple. And when I use Linda, who's 55, she was scared to start strength training after a shoulder injury. Instead of lifting heavy weights, she started with light resistance bands and built up her strength without pain. It was baby steps again. And we were very careful to look at her shoulder to make sure it's in the right position. It's the right alignment with my Pilates body theme that I have to stabilize her upper body and doing the exercises in good form. Not a lot of them, but over time, those baby steps really make a difference. And of course, R is roadblocks. Nothing goes ever without a hitch. So anticipate that things are not going to work out. If your schedule gets hectic, what's your backup plan? What can you do? And if you reframe failure as a positive, you could say, for instance, if I miss a workout, instead of, oh my God, I suck, I failed, ask yourself, what made that day tough today? How can I adjust? And what can I do instead? So if you've planned to do your 15-minute Pilates workout and life just didn't work out, let's do some breathing exercises. I hear you thinking, Heike, that's not a workout. Yes, it is. It helps you bring down your stress. It helps you relax. It helps you feel way better. So think about that. Not every roadblock is a failure, but it's like, how can I adjust? And sometimes we have to think a little bit about that. And then K, of course, it stands for keeping momentum. Get moving, keep going. Celebrate those non-scale. What does that mean? Wins. Not as much as I stand on the scale. Ooh, today I lost a half a pound. It's great. It doesn't matter as much in the long term in comparison to I have more energy. I feel less stiff in the morning. And I'm making better food choices. If you pair the new habits with existing ones, okay, here's another smile on your face, I hope. Do 10 squats while brushing your teeth. You may have seen my reel where I do stretches while brushing my teeth in the bathroom. So I put up my leg on the counter in the bathroom, and I brush my teeth. Revisit your why regularly. Because I want you to stay so strong that you can enjoy life without these limitations that we put upon ourselves. So if you feel, oh my God, I'm stuck, I'm afraid of this, and I don't want to do this, and I've tried this before, take a step back and think about why you're afraid and what you can do without those limitations. And science backs up what we already know. Our thoughts shape our outcomes. If we shift our mindset, we shift our results. And I have a really great example. Again, it just happened this week. This is a really good week for examples. Client comes in and says, oh, my shoulder is really bad and my elbow, and we've been working on that problem for a while now to help her get more stable through Pilates and alignment work. But she said, I used to do all these push-ups, and she's turning 80 this year. So she's been doing all these push-ups, but the shoulder and the elbow hold her back. And I said, okay, let's try a plank. And she said, I don't think I can do it. And I said, let's change our thought. How about instead of, I don't think I can do it, think that you know you can do it. Stop the fear of collapsing and instead think, what's the worst thing that happens? I'll just get up in a crooked way. There will not be pain because I know I'm aligned. And well, did you know what? She got up in that push-up position like a champ. And she's just, Heike, you're so right. It's really what I think that matters. So studies have shown that fear and excitement feel the same in the body. It's all about how we interpret it. And also, when I go on stage and speak about midlife and topics for midlife women, the first thing is my stomach is all in knots. And I said to somebody before, oh my God, I'm so afraid. What are they going to think of me? Will I do well? Will I stumble over my words? And this person said, it's excitement. It's not fear. You're excited to help people in the audience with all your knowledge. So think about that. And also, many of my clients fear that failing at intermittent fasting is inevitable. But when they stopped expecting perfection, that they do everything perfect, that they stay in the perfect fasting window, and instead started with small fasting windows, they realized progress was happening all along. So let's get to some super practical steps, some actions. Fear doesn't disappear overnight, but having a go-to strategy or a couple makes it easier to push past when this fear shows up. You could say as a mantra, failure isn't final, it's feedback. Rhymes really a lot of F's in there. Or whatever your mantra is I'm not afraid, I can do it anyways. Or instead of saying, I can't do this, I will be able to do this. And think about your support system. Join a community of like-minded women who understand midlife challenges, like our Facebook group. And I'll leave a link in the show notes so you can join the group where we have conversations about midlife topics. And affirmation. Affirmations make a huge difference to everybody. Like, I am strong enough to try. I don't have to get to perfect. I just have to start. Taking action, even if it's small, remember my baby steps, it's what leads to transformation. So ask yourself, what's one step you can take this week despite fear? Reach out to me on social media or email me at heike@heikeyates.com and let me know what step you took this week. I'd love to cheer you on. Midlife isn't the end. It's a pivot point. You're more capable than you think, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Before we wrap up, do you have a question about staying consistent with healthy habits and creating a fitness routine for your busy midlife? Send it to me and I'll answer it on the air. The link will be in the show notes. And if bloating and digestive issues are getting in the way of you feeling your best, check out my Belly Bliss course. Use step-by-step guide to feeling lighter, more energized, and in control of your gut health. And also, you'll find a link in the show notes. Now, next time, we're shifting gears. Have you ever looked at a loved one and sensed something was changing, but you couldn't quite put your finger on it? Maybe they moved a little slower, their voice softened, or their expressions weren't quite the same. And then one day, you hear the diagnosis, Parkinson's. It's a story of love, loss, and the fight to make a difference. And this one you definitely won't want to miss.